Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Shout out to everyone on the chat. Hey Barbie, yes. Rabbit was clearly shaken up today by this info in her live earlier today. Yes, I was. The length some people go to just promote a book. If these allegations are true, then I'm glad I didn't purchase the book. Yeah, I am disturbed. Disturbed for sure by what happened this afternoon, and I'm even more bothered by what I was able to find as well. Welcome to the chat. I don't know about that allegation. I could say his negligence might have led to, well, the negligence caused the accident. That's for sure. I can say that much. And I will say that because we know that to be true in terms of the civil case. But shout out to everyone in the bushes. So I wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit of what I found, and then I realized that I also found some other stuff that I was like, well, was this intentional? Should I come across this information? Let me show you guys some receipts. Why don't we start by there? So, well, let me go back even more. In the live today, if you guys were not there, we were talking about the book. We were doing a book review, right? And I believe it was brought up to the chat because Aaliyah's mom had made a statement in the estate where it said something to the effect of they had to close down the Ferncliff Cemetery for the fans because of someone's behavior, individual that had been promoted a book. So, and it says it there. However, due to the behavior of an individual that has been to Aaliyah's resting place in order to promote a book, I've been forced to make a drastic change at Ferncliff Cemetery. So this person interrupted all my thoughts and ideas to make the 25th of August 2001 a day of remembrance. Okay. So fans were not allowed to visit the site yesterday during this whole memorial thing, right? So it's been 20 years since Aaliyah's passing, and it was alleged, and it was even said in our chat that the author went to the site, and that there was a book promotion in the site. That's how I interpret that, right? And then further, she responded by saying, I did not promote my book outside of Aaliyah's gravesite. That is offensive to even suggest. I've been told that fans had my book there with them. Please no longer bring my book to Ferncliff. Apologies to the fans that cannot visit Aaliyah's resting place. So I was a little taken back by that too, by her response as well, because I think that it's important to know that this is also an unauthorized book. The family didn't agree to it. I don't know if the family was consulted or consultated with, excuse me, overall. And so there might be some level of feelings about this situation. And I think we have to be respectful. All right. So I was like, there's no way in my mind, guys, because I'm like, let me just, give somebody the benefit of the doubt, right? There's no way that the author went to the site to promote a book. Okay. There's no way. And I still am not really like all the way convinced. However, let me show you one of the first pictures that I found. Okay. So, one thing that stood out to me from this picture, and this is the author, Kathy Iandoli. You would say it in English, but it's Yandoli. That's how she pronounces it. And it says, people have been asking to see what Aaliyah's whole memorial currently looks like. I didn't take many pics because I wasn't there for that, but this is the one I snapped. I brought those orchids to her altar. All right, so this is her altar. She brought the orchids. One thing that and anybody in the chat, if you guys notice, what's one thing that's off about this picture? Anybody notice this? Anybody notice the one thing that is off about this picture? The date. You see the date up here, she posted this on April 11, 2021. The book was released August 17th, this month. Okay, this year, this month. So I don't see a book there or anything to say she's promoting it. But then again, this was back in April. Okay, back in April, this was posted. And to further confirm that, I found her postings on Twitter of when she went to visit the site on April 11th. Okay. So happy we got to go visit baby girl together. It was a moment for reals. Blessed to call you my friend. Aaliyah Archives with this person who also has a Twitter page, okay? And then put this on your upcoming reading list. Ladies and gents, the definite Aaliyah biography dropping August 17th, and she retweeted this person's tweet here, okay? And this is kind of adding to the thread of tweets from all of this is from Twitter. All right. So I sat there and I was like, well, that doesn't really say that she went to go and promote the book in April when the book was released on the 17th, right, of August. So we really don't have enough to say that. However, then I saw another posting, and this is the one that really threw me off, where I was like, wait a minute, hold up, back it up. See, this is Instagram. Everybody sees this as Instagram. And she writes in here, everyone has asked me how I was spending this day of my book release, what I would be doing, and who I would be celebrating with. There was only one person I wanted to see today, and I did. I brought her a flower from each bouquet sent to me today and some forever flowers to add to the ones I had already brought her months ago. When I got back to my car and I turned it on, her music started playing. My radio was off. Aaliyah is everywhere. Thank you for supporting me with this book, but most of all, her. So the problem that I have with this, guys, is that somebody chopped off the date on this. But she had an interview with, shout out to this subby, Nia, I believe her name is Nia. So she was in our live earlier, and she said, hey, she had an interview, meaning the author had an interview where she addressed Aaliyah's mom's comments, her posting and everything. And the author confirmed that she went to the site, okay? And she doesn't feel like it's in, like, she wasn't there to promote a book or anything like that. She just happened to go there because that's what she does when she writes a book about people. She likes to spend the day with the person she's writing about. She's the author, right? This is what she's saying. And Aaliyah happens to be there, and so she went to go pay her homage. That's what she says. That's her narrative. But the thing is this, if she wrote this post, okay, and again, the date is chopped off and it's been retweeted a couple times. She's being dragged on Twitter over this situation, okay? She deleted this. This posting on Instagram doesn't exist. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, why would you delete this post? Does this show that you went to the gravesite? Did you have the book with you? I don't see any pictures in there. I mean, it's cut off, guys. We don't know, right? If there's a picture with the book in her gravesite. But even then, think about promotion. She wrote the book. She went to the gravesite. It's not like she got consent to go visit her on her 20th anniversary, which, by the way, the family has never shut down the site for people to visit. This would have been a first time for everything. So yeah, it was a pretty impactful thing to do and a pretty huge move to make. So not having a date, I don't know what we can make of it, but I think it's very telling at the very first sentence that when she's responding, everybody asked her where she was going to spend her day. She's going to spend her day, celebrating and being with who she wanted to see, and brought her flowers as well. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are, because I don't think that there's any etiquette to the situation. I mean, for me, if you're not going to ask the family about the book, their feelings, their thoughts, then I guess you wouldn't necessarily ask them about going to go see her either, right? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Because I got some other stuff to show you that also didn't sit very well with me. And now I'm a little curious about the book and how it was promoted. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. Okay, we're gonna move on. I got another thing to show you. And let me remove this. I'm gonna share with you guys another screen. Let's see if we can do this. Let's stop this. Alrighty, I got another little screen to show you. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the Twitter account. Just so you guys can see exactly what we're seeing on our end, and it was a little bit disturbing. Okay. This is her Twitter account. Okay. And this is her response. I did not promote my book outside of Aaliyah's gravesite. We had already seen that. That is offensive to even suggest. I've been told that fans have had my book there with them. Don't take my book to the, Fern Cliff. Apologies that the fans cannot visit Aaliyah's resting place. All right. This is what she says in there. When you scroll down, literally everybody's like, sorry you got all the heat. Okay. If only her mother had gone as hard to protect her, and like people are putting in their 2 cents about what they should have done. I think they're missing the point in terms of like, you wrote a book, you went to the gravesite, somebody saw you promoted, there's a picture there, it's cut off, there's no date. I get it, but it is a little bit interesting, and it's deleted. You deleted this picture from your account, and that does make it look a little suspect, in my opinion. Down here, let's see. You posted Aaliyah's grave and promoted your book in the caption on the Instagram post. Even if a fan did bring your book to her resting place, it's still your book. And Diane was hurt hearing the allegations about her being drugged before the accident. No matter what, your fault for this. And this is another Aaliyah fan that said that. So heads up on that. Says, sure, so did her mom lie? There's no collective healing in the book. You were a vessel. You're responsible. I mean, there's a lot of people that are kind of dragging it. I'm trying to find that picture because it was very interesting. Where I was like, yo, that is suspect. So see, here's somebody saying you can promote with me, completely different random posting to it, right? It's interesting. Interesting. And then here we have, let's see. Why are you even doing a book without her family blessing? It's a good question. We wanted to know that as well. We wanted to see what was up with that. As you go down and you scroll down, I mean, she is being dragged. Okay. And even then, I stumbled upon this little thing right here with tweets that kind of disturbed me. This is you, sis, being a hypocrite. You know what you did, speaking on someone's life that you don't know about. So I was like, well, what's up with these tweets, right? Like, what is it? And they're kind of blurry here. So we have them on a different image. Okay, I'm going to show them to you. That right there was Pandora's box for me a little bit, because I realized that I don't know the depths in terms of going to promote this book to what you're saying. Now, I read the book and I question a little bit about some of the stuff that's written in there, and that's just me. So I'm going to share with you guys the other screen that I have. Let's see if we can go this route. Let's see. Here we go. All righty. So here we have someone's post. Okay, Kathy, this is why you don't mess, I think she meant, you don't mess with Aaliyah stands or Kaya, baby. This you in the group with minors telling them Aaliyah got pregnant and left in a hotel. Now, come on. All right. So Jane Doe number 4, not to bring R. Kelly in this situation, But I mean, I don't know how you can't or can't at this point with this tweeting that happened here. And it's still blurry, but let me see. Yeah, this one's a little bit better. I'm going to show you guys the other one. This is another, I went in there and I was like, well, who is this? And what are they talking about? And I'm seeing the author here having conversations with like a group of people about Aaliyah, her pregnancy, getting married, and a court sealed document. Okay. So then I was like, well, wait a minute. This is crazy. Let me go in there and figure out what it is that I'm reading, right? Because I was a little curious. So we're going to take you to that right now. I was curious to know what this conversation looked like. Okay. Rape and false accusations. This is proof of Kathy telling minors Aaliyah was pregnant. This is not my screenshots, but I was there, but I got S-worded by a thread below. All right, so this person got the screenshots. And here is a little bit more of a better visual of these screenshots. R. Kelly trial starts August 9th. Aaliyah used to be called Jane Doe #1, right? Now she's being called by name. And it shows she was pregnant. R. Kelly, idiot ass, goes, she's not alive to prove that. OMG, responds the person. You awful, disgusting dumpster fire. I thought people were saying she was pregnant to be mean and spiteful and to slut shame. Okay, so that's the person interacting with the author. So I was like, all right, hearsay, I don't know. She says, what? No, he got her pregnant, hopped a flight to marry her because in the Midwest, if you're married, you can't get charged with rape. So this is what she told this person. He says, oh, so that's why he did the marriage thing? If they find out she's pregnant, she's correcting thing. Here's somebody else in this chat. And it keeps going. Yes, made her get married in jeans. So sad. She was scared. And then the person responds, and ghetto, oh my God. And then the author responds by saying, like, shaking, poor mama. I wish I was here to see him going down. I wish she was here to see him going down. That's what this person says. Then the author says, then he spent the night with her. And it cuts off on that message right there, right? He spends the night with her, hopped on a flight back to Miami, left her alone in the hotel. Oh my God, crying face. The author responds by saying she wasn't. She needed an abortion. R. Kelly has a long-ass pattern of impregnating kids and paying for abortions. The person responds, oh no. None were as famous as Aaliyah. None were as famous as Aaliyah. Someone else says in here, I've heard 2 women say this unless it was the same women in an interview and on the Surviving R. Kelly series. This person says, so sad. It's all in the book, too, how he does a very specific pattern. The person then responds, I knew nobody was saying it out of hate but just by info they had because it was aired out. So from here, this person says, Kathy, where did you get that she is pregnant from? Which I think is a legit question. We want to know, where did she get, where did you get this information from? Okay. So and it cuts off there, but in another post, we actually have that information, where she got this information from. Let me stop right here because I kind of want to read your guys' comments on this situation, and that way it'll make it easier for me to find that other slide. Let's see. You're like, shout out to everyone on the chat, by the way. The author spent a lot of time writing this book. You become connected to the person, but taking pics and promoting book is classless. Yeah, I would have to agree. Yes, hit that like button, please. Hi, I'm late again. No worries. No worries. Take a seat. Take a seat. Um, that's true. I live in Indiana. It's the law here. If you get married, they can't change you. You mean charge you with rape? So if the person's older, and then not gonna lie, Kathy isn't lying in those texts. I've been watching videos covering the R. Kelly trial, and everything she's saying was brought up, right? I've heard the same as well. I don't know. I was with my husband from the time I was 14. He was 19. We spent 52 years together before he passed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Had our family over by the time I was 17. He was a great man. Do it all over again. Okay. But is there, at the age of 14, I'm kind of curious, Beverly, if you don't mind sharing, did you become pregnant sounds like your last child was at 17. So I'm just curious, how old were you when you had your first, if you don't mind sharing? That being said, though, R. Kelly, the problem with the R. Kelly situation is that they lied on legal documents. So what is it? They made Aaliyah 2 years older. Okay, so he paid for those documents to be falsified. So I believe he was also indicted for the government officials thing, where if you lied to a government official, falsify documents, and you turn those in, that is a crime in itself. You can't do that. And you can definitely get in trouble for that. So let me show you guys the rest of these little DMs that I have here. Hope everybody could see it. Let's see. Went to Aaliyah's grave at Ferncliff yesterday. At first, she thought Aaliyah's mom moved her casket on the public, but she had her name covered up, I guess, for some privacy. Oh, I see. I see. So maybe so people were yesterday was the 25th, right? So people were able to visit, but maybe it was covered up so that there wouldn't be any pictures, maybe, possibly. Thank you for sharing, Mel. Okay. Yeah, I had my first at 15 and my last at 17. I see. I see. So you were a pretty young mom, married, and because you guys are married, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble, I'm assuming. She also exposed Diane and said Aaliyah stayed with R. Kelly for 3 months and didn't come home. The parents said they would disown her if she didn't come back. And you know what? I went back to that chapter, and I believe it was like chapter 3, where they talk a little bit about her running away from home. Okay. And it was one of those things where it was like she ran away from home. There was a brief mention of a marriage and a pregnancy, but it wasn't anything that was like, whoa, like she didn't get into this whole, I don't know, like I feel like we're missing information here that she said she disclosed. I don't think she disclosed at all. But I don't know. So in here, on these new little DMs, right? Where did we leave off? Just so I know. This person asked her, how did you find out she was pregnant, right? And it cuts off, but we were able to find some of them. It shows she was pregnant. R. Kelly's idiot's ass goes, she's not allowed to prove that anymore. We went through that, right? Someone asked her, where did it go? I wish she was here to see him going down. Aaliyah was pregnant. Then he spent the night with her. Now, Kathy, I'm sorry, but where did you get this from? Hopped on a flight back, left her in a hotel. I don't believe Aaliyah was having a baby. OMG, someone says. I have court documents that prove he abused her. Contracts her parents signed. And her. So contracts her parents and her signed. She's saying here, and I'm going to repeat it one more time, I have court documents that proved he abused her. Contracts her parents and her signed. The person responds, it breaks my heart about what Aaliyah had to go through. It's in the book. Okay, that's where I'm like, wait a minute. What contracts? were signed. The abuse, it was alluded to in her book. Don't get me wrong, that was there. But what contracts were signed? NDAs? I don't know, between each other. And that could have been the case, right? They could have signed NDAs between each other. I'm just saying. But that right there threw me off. And I was like, well, what contracts? And she has court documents, but the court documents aren't discussed. Like, she didn't just release them on the book like a PDF file or something for everybody to see. It's in the book, she says. I had a dream about this one. That's why I did this book. Like, everyone needs to know how strong she is. Okay. And that's where those end. So Jane Doe number 1 was in reference to Aaliyah. Okay, we know that much. That is Jane Doe number 1. I believe that the courts are showing of a pregnancy. Okay, could very well be the case. But what bothers me about this situation is this right here, all of these DMs and everything. She released this little statement. Okay. Here, I'll quote it for you. She says, "This was all public from Surviving R. Kelly. You asked me to clear up some things, and I went into your chat and answered questions. You then changed the chat name to Buy Kathy's Book Now, got mad again, so I am not continuing on this anymore." And this was August 5th. Yeah, I would have to agree. The level of unprofessionalism here is ridiculous. Right? There's a level of unprofessionalism here. Like, I just don't understand and or get it. I don't understand why. I don't know. Like, I know as a journalist, you probably have to push the envelope a little bit with these people. I get it, to seek some truth, to figure this out. But I think that there is a level of trying to figure out, like, how do you balance that? The stuff is coming out, guys. R. Kelly is being charged with all this stuff right now. He's going through a trial, right? So when Damon Dash said, whether she took a drug or wasn't, what does it matter? I kind of feel like, as someone that's a fan and not necessarily a direct family, what do we make of all of this? Is it likely that she was pregnant and she had an abortion? Okay, maybe. And the rebranding of Aaliyah had to happen? Or is there a child out there? Like, I just feel like her even talking about this and clearing information, she's saying, well, all of this is public from Surviving R. Kelly. But even then, guys, Surviving R. Kelly, this is why I don't want to watch it anymore. I only watched it once and I said, I'm not watching this anymore. Especially if you have to have 2 seasons of a very traumatic, draining documentary. I don't need 2 seasons of that. Right? I don't believe that it's healthy to have any trauma bond. It's healthy to talk about it and bring some closure and information out to the people. But when you bond with people through trauma, then you're essentially generating more trauma. The narrative tends to change. We have to be very careful. That's why I don't do trauma bond. So this R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly thing, this back and forth, this little DMs with the fans to clarify questions was probably a really bad idea, because now you're saying it's in the book, but everything's public information because it's from Surviving R. Kelly, which, by the way, even now comes into question. Every victim in there is being questioned, whether you believe them or not. Every victim is being questioned in every platform. You have different channels that are really trying to be unbiased, and really review the information as it is, the statements, and bring about what's in discovery, what evidence do they have to look into it. And then you have the channels that are for R. Kelly, and they don't see anything beyond that. And so then some of us that don't fall in either space, we sit here and we're like, well, then what do we make of this? What do we do with this information? How do we move forward? So this is why I say, okay, victims of trauma, we have to be very mindful of their trauma. But if I have trauma and you have trauma, I'm not going to bond with you on trauma. We need to find a different connection because our relationship can't be based on trauma. And so in my head, when I read Kathleen's response, okay, and the way she talks to all the people over here, you have to understand that you're giving information that you say is public, but it's also in your book. And you're also assuming that everything that's public is accurate and correct, and we just don't know. Do we have victims? I think we do, but we don't know to the extent of what all of that was like. And I can't speak for Aaliyah, and neither can anybody else. So all we can rely on is, what do we have in discovery? What's in evidence? What do we know for a fact? Legal documents were falsified. Perfect. We know that, right? You had somebody that gave testimony about that. There was a marriage. Did we have an abortion? Or is there a child that exists out there? What do we know about that? How can we confirm whether Aaliyah spent the night at a hotel? And how do we know? Like, these are things that are very important. And when you don't address all of that, then you have people speculating. And I would have to agree. They are dragging her on Twitter. Rightfully so. I'm sorry. I think the fact that your move was to delete the tweet. Let's go back up a little bit. You go in here and I'm thinking, nah, wait a minute. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I'm still giving her the benefit of the doubt, right? I'm thinking this is an old tweet, April 10th. Okay? No way. And then I see the following. How are you going to spend the day when you release your book? Oh, okay. How are you going to spend the day? So then somebody sees this, they screenshot it, they don't get the date. But you're going to tell me that you didn't release the book. You didn't spend the day there, and then here's the deal. Then you delete the tweet. So are you saying that mom lied when she said someone went to the grave to promote their book? Did mom lie? That's my question. But you entertained other conversations with fans because you wanted to answer questions for them. You see, if you weren't going to get the blessing for the book, then you don't have the right to be offended. You really don't. You shouldn't respond this way. You don't have the right to be offended. This is not your child. You're a fan just like I'm a fan and possibly everybody else on the chat. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to the plainest Jane, which, by the way, she's been covering every little detail on this court stuff with R. Kelly. I'm telling you, I don't have the stomach to do all of that right now. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm going to tell you this. What else would you call this mom if you're saying you're not promoting your book out there, and then there's a tweet that says, what does the tweet say? That she didn't know how to spend the day or how she was going to spend the day. Everybody has asked me how I was spending the day of my book release. The book release was on the 17th. The 20th anniversary was on the 25th. And she says in here, I wanted to see her. And then you delete the comment. You delete the whole post. I went into Instagram to figure where is it at. Went into Instagram, went into Twitter, nothing. Nothing. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I've reached out to her, never heard any response. That's fine. She doesn't owe one. However, reached out to her and thinking, hey, can you help clarify this piece, especially on the Kingsley situation? Can you help, bring some awareness and clarity to this situation? Nothing. Well, then there you go. That's as far as we'll go. And just to let you guys know, she's writing about little Kim, who's actually alive still. I'm sure that it is what it is, right? Good for her. But this one right here to me really, I'm sorry. I don't agree. And I read the whole book. And I thought, well, maybe I'll give it a chance. But once I saw this tweet right here, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done. I've made up my mind. Sorry. I'm good. I think it's pretty pathetic. So you definitely went to the site. She started getting dragged. She deleted this little Instagram post. Okay. And then, what else? Call mom a liar? Because you did go in there. Why go there? You didn't get the blessing for the book. I believe her intent was to, I don't know, bring her flowers. But it was probably in bad taste because you had fans there. They probably would have wanted to take a picture with you. I'm just thinking, and you still didn't have permission for this book. And then here, there's a chat group where people are asking you information about the book. And then what do? This is all public information with Surviving R. Kelly. Well, yeah, it could very well be the case that it's all public information. But you still alluded to information that people have a lot of questions about. And she's Jane Doe number one. These people want to know. And you're giving very, explicit statements here. Her pregnancy, okay? That the marriage piece. All right. So you're saying all this is public information. And by the way, I believe it was one person who released this information in the first season of Surviving R. Kelly. And then it keeps going. This is the piece that I was like, well, where is this shit? You say you have this. I have court docs that prove he abused her. Okay. Contracts her parents and her signed. They're not in the book. Where are the contracts her and her parents signed? They're not in the book. It's in my book. No, it's not. But then what does she do? She hurries up and redacts and says, this is all public information from Surviving R. Kelly. No, dude, but you're saying that it's all in the book. What are we missing here? And that's what we have. And not only that, guys, I want you guys to think back about think about Kingsley, okay? How quickly she went from the Daily Beast, try to correct that information, okay? And was saying, well, I had to go to I believe it was the Rolling Stones that did the correction for her, right? Instead of going to the same source to correct the information, she went to another source. She said that her words were misconstrued. Okay, they were misconstrued. If you're spending a huge portion of amount of time doing a lot of PR in a book that you don't have a blessing for, man, you're still doing the PR right now, and you've been doing it leading up to the release of this book, no? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. I mean, I know I'm getting a little too passionate now because I was sitting there and I was like, I was rooting for you. Not to quote Tyra Banks, but I was rooting for her. I really was. I was rooting for her. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I misconstrued it. I don't know. She knew what she was doing. I'm not even making room for excuses that she meant no harm. Nope. Thank you. I know. I was rooting for her. I mean, it's up to the family. She ends up getting sued, right? I don't know. I don't know. She needs to reveal her sources. I would have to agree that she does need to reveal her sources. She won't talk to you because you're an adult rabbit. Why was she in the chat with gullible minors? Thank you. To feed them things that perhaps they can't discern. Glad she got blasted. Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. Professional rabbit adults that would know what kind of questions to ask you and not eat the bullshit that you feed them by an interview. I'm just saying, okay? From I'm not a vice journalist or anything, but shit, I've been in the field for a couple years to know, like, okay, what do you ask? How do you ask? What do we want to know? These people are eating this up, and now she's getting dragged on Twitter. And honestly, I think it's well deserved. My bad. I don't know. If her words were misconstrued, why didn't you go back and correct them? Yeah, a real journalist would correct their mistakes if they misquoted you. They wouldn't correct it because that's exactly what she said. Right. Right. I would think so. I would think so. She is the ultimate troll. I can't imagine what Aaliyah's mother is feeling, right? I feel the same way. There's been a fans versus the estate battles for so long. A lot of fans claim that Aaliyah's family has been trying to sabotage her legacy over the years. So I guess that's why Kathy feels entitled. You know what? I want to talk about somebody that Aaliyah has been compared to. Selena Quintanilla. Okay. And I brought this up. There's a content creator here. That had mentioned this, making a comparison between Selena and Aaliyah, right? And so, how the level of protection, there have been various books that have been released about Selena in the last couple years. And I mean, mind you, they are, I believe I think Selena was maybe 2 or 3 years older than Aaliyah when she died. Okay. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, like the fans will protect the estate. They will go above and beyond. There were so many books that were written. There were so many books that were written about Selena that were looking at her in such a negative light, right? And so then in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, hurry up, and they go and they fix that narrative. It's not just the family, it's the fans as well that will do that. But here, it almost feels like in Aaliyah's situation, like she can't get the same level of respect that Selena Quintanilla has had. I don't know why. And this girl has been in the field for so long. And I love Selena, trust me. I really am. Yeah. So it's Hawk's baby girl, right? Think about it. The girl, her estate, there's a museum. Corpus Christi has a statue. There's so many monuments. I believe the Astrodome was named after her in her last concert. I want you to think about how very close in terms of age of death and how much they were able to do in their lifetime. And yet, we cannot get the same level of respect for Aaliyah. If somebody writes a defamatory a book on Selena, I'm telling you, you are going to have a load of fans coming for you. You are. For me, it's like, I don't feel like the Aaliyah group gets that same support or validity. It's the saddest thing. There was somebody that posted about the wax museum. So Selena has a wax statue as well, right? And Aaliyah has one as well. They just did one. They somebody messed up her wax figure really badly. Okay. They had to close it down. That's right. Her father will shut it down in a quickness. That's what it is. So anytime, any sense of anybody messing with Selena's grave, there was a time where somebody jumped over the fence to get into Selena's grave. Yeah, they don't play with stuff like that, right? So for me, it's like I feel like the level of protection for Aaliyah is not as well put as someone like Selena. And of course, that requires money, right? Of course, that requires time and dedication. But the legacy is so out there and big, right? That it makes me sad to even compare that. Um, and even that people would allow this conversation to continue or some narrative to be flared up. They will defend Selena's family, their parents, as whether you agree with them or not, they will. But as opposed to Aaliyah and her family and her mom, it doesn't seem like it's equal. And they are artists that did a lot in their short lifetime. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. Yes, now the author's playing the hush hush game. Not other well, yeah. I think that's the best thing she could do right now. I did give her the time, an opportunity to fix it, but again, maybe she was so upset with everything, and that's fine. I personally, I'm good. Maybe one day, I'm not really sure. Maybe she'll move on to little Kim, and then we can all close this chapter. But the thing is, it's just sad because it's left so much open. I don't know. Just thinking. I'm a little bit upset with that situation, especially when somebody pointed that out to me and I didn't even know about it until I read it. I'm like, yeah, that confirms it for me. Yes. All right. Let's look at your guys' comments. The claims are that the family don't want to promote her legacy due to the guilt over the RK situation, and that could very well be the truth. Selena had a lot of controversy. I mean, and of course, the controversy comes after the death, right? So much comes out to light. There was a lot that came out to light as well, after her death, and we can't take away from that. There was books written about her, but I think that the the monumental fan base and pack of support for Selena, I mean, they're there to dead it right away. You're talking about Barb's and Nicki Minaj. I'm talking about Selena fans. They're about the same. Okay. And so that's why I'm saying, well, why don't we get the same support for, say, someone like Aaliyah? I don't know. Barry Hankerson is the reason why Aaliyah's mother and brother don't have any say so regarding the music. Yeah, the estate and all of that, which, by the way, I believe it was this week that we should have gotten some music release. Next week, not sure. They are close in age. She was only 23 when she died. That's right. They were pretty close in age when they died. I noticed her on Twitter and she was going off on other journalists who were calling her out. Yes, really? See, I'm telling you, she's getting dragged on Twitter. You got to go to her Twitter page. You got to go there because you'll see, you're like, whoa. Because people are calling out the bullshit. Right? Of course, you can't, you need to get some permission. This girl was very young. Okay. And clearly there's a lot of, people that are trying to make money off of what happened with R. Kelly. Like, wouldn't it have been the logical thing to have done? Whether you agree with it or not, and let the family know, listen, I have to publish this portion of this book, Kingsley, or all this other, or who she dated or whatever, but you didn't do that. And then this happened. So yeah, even if she meant well by going there, people are going to see you there and recognize you there and want to take a picture with you. Right? And she confirmed that she went to the site. I had a subby, hopefully she's a subby, send me an email where she talks a little bit about it, addressing the mother. And the way she addresses the mother, the family, I just find it to be very disrespectful. No different than what she's doing here. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I was very turned off by that. And if anybody wants to see that interview, I didn't want to upload it here because it's another channel. Want to be very, very, very mindful of it. And everything else. Yeah. And the other thing too, Trey Manuel just said it, that Kathy blocked all comments on her Instagram. She's a coward. That's right. She did. That's the other point too. So not only is she not accepting comments, she's not accepting anything. She deleted that post intentionally. Okay, I'm just going to say it. She did. She did. So, yeah. That's as much as I'm going to say about that right now. Now, I have a question here. Let me see if I can see this comment. Rabbit, can you email it to your S? Email what? I'm sorry. Email it to your S. I don't know what you mean by S. Oh, email it to you. Yes, I can email you the link. If you want to shoot me an email, I'll just forward you the email that I have with the link. You guys can see it in her response to the mother. She doesn't feel like she is at fault for the decisions that were made by the estate to not allow people to visit. Okay. You had people that were flying in to visit Aaliyah. Okay. And she doesn't feel like she's at fault. And then you even have the person that's interviewing her excusing her. And I'm like, yo, is this an unbiased interview, or are you just like making excuses for because you know the girl? Right? Like, are you guys besties? Is she your protege? I don't know. I'm sorry, she's being so shady. I'm not believing she went there to be supportive. She had intentions to promote a book discussing. I mean, seriously, I don't know, man. It's really sad. It's really sad. And who knows? That's all I'm going to say about that. I really hope that they figured the situation out. I hope that an apology is owed, and I hope a different attitude is given. It's either that or move on to your next book, because this right here didn't land very well. And then again, are you calling her mom a liar? Because you did go to her site. She's not denying that. Says she's offended by the suggestion. Well, then, were you there? Were you not? I don't know. Kathy encouraged people to take pictures with her book. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she does. She signed a gazillion books. She has been on a tour since the pre-release and all that other stuff. Everything that's been posted, it's been all over Times Square. It's been promoted. I mean, she's doing a lot of PR. But to me, it's like I think that it's everything leading up to that does not sit well with me, especially her tweets with these people, right? Like, your response, you're giving them information and then you say it's all public, but you're also saying that this other stuff is in the book about her parents signing contracts. What contracts did they sign? And let me tell you, they have a right to defend themselves. I definitely would defend myself if somebody made a statement like that about my stuff, and not knowing. Just a thought. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to come in here and see what we saw. Shout out to everyone in the chat that joined us this afternoon. It's Hawk's baby girl who kind of helped us find some information on this, as well as a person that emailed me. They know who they are. And everyone else that was following us earlier on the live. This was a little bit disturbing for me. Yeah, and I would have to agree with Barbie when she said I left disturbed. I was, because I didn't understand if there was any merit to it. Now, can I say that we're completely done talking about the situation? Probably not. And let me tell you why. I would like to look a little bit into the court documents that are being provided. And I'd also like to see, is there a comparison to what the R. Kelly documentary said? Now, I don't want to see the documentary anymore. I already said that. Once I see something and it's too traumatic, I leave it alone. Because I think that it needs to be left alone. However, I'm going to see what I can do about what she's saying in this book in comparison to what the court documents are actually saying. I think it's important. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. We'll go from there. We have some other content coming up this weekend. We are not done. So I need you guys to stay put. Make sure you share this live. Make sure you like it. What else? We have a backup page. Don't forget to subscribe. We got to put some more videos up there. This is it. This is the little backup page. Make sure you check it out. We only have one little video, but we're going to be uploading things in there. I just haven't quite decided where to go, how to, I don't know. I feel like it is a new channel, but starting from scratch almost kind of it's difficult in my mind. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining us, and I am out.